something else.
Ladies and gentlemen, wow, what's up? This is John, registered with Jason Saul. He just rocked it here at the United States Olympic Committee, and we've been talking about innovation in all these different spaces, but Jason brought a different twist to it, so I wanted you to get the impact of what he was talking about. So we're talking about the space of innovation, Jason. Why do businesses, a lot of businesses, just kind of get the model wrong?
Right. Well, it's a great question. I mean, basically the answer is that most companies innovate the activities, not against the outcomes. Right, so like we might try a new marketing tactic or a new product feature, but we're losing mind of what the actual outcome is. The outcome is, what does the customer want to buy? What's going to move the needle on consumer behavior? And so if we start with the outcome in mind, it allows us to innovate more relevant solutions that are designed to move the needle rather than just to innovate a tactic or a technique, which may or may not end up moving sales in the end.
So we do a lot of things around activities, and we start measuring these activities, and we really don't, it may not have any correlation to the actual outcome or the impact that we're trying to have.
Right, right. I mean, we can have the cleanest bathrooms of any restaurant, but if what the customer really cares about is healthier food, then it really doesn't matter how clean our bathrooms are, right? So you got to figure out what outcome really matters, and then how do we innovate around the outcome rather than just doing a bunch of activities and hoping they add up to an outcome.
So now you said in the presentation, I thought it was really great, that we're caught between the kind of rock and a hard place, right? And so we don't know which way we need to go, and sometimes we can't go right, we can't go left, we have to look for the third way. And you shared a really cool story about RedBox. Could you share that story?
Sure. My friend Mats will kill me for being on video about it, but my premise was that in society, most of us are caught between unacceptable binary trade-offs. You know, Republican, Democrat, 1%, 99%, or working for a nonprofit, working for a corporation, and that the solution more and more these days is to find the third way, a place where we actually achieve the outcome without making any trade-offs. And so I gave an example of at a corporation in the past, a friend of mine had wanted to create a new innovation, which ended up becoming RedBox. He couldn't get the funding to do it because people didn't believe that it would work, but he couldn't prove that it could work until he got the funding to do it. So he created a third way, which was, let me do a makeshift version of this thing out of cardboard, pay a guy to stand in the middle of the box and hand out the DVDs, and prove that people want it, and then ultimately get the money to do the project. So there's always a third way to every impossible problem.
And I think that's great. You know, you also shared an innovative story. You know, we always talk about apples and oranges. We can't mix the two together.
Right.
But can you share about how apples and oranges actually do come together if we're looking at the impact that it might have?
Yeah. So I mean, if you're trying to compare two different sports, you know, kayaking to taekwondo, or you're trying to compare two different songs, Britney Spears to Christina Aguilera, it seems impossible. One's an apple, one's an orange. It is true, you can't compare an apple to an orange, but you can compare their relative contribution to a common outcome. So for example, if we looked at the outcome of nutrition, we could compare the apple's contribution, what percentage of recommended daily allowance, what fiber content, what sugar content, and we can compare the orange's contribution. And so we could actually look at what's the relative contribution of both of those fruits to our recommended daily allowance and to the outcome of nutrition, as opposed to trying to compare them to each other, which doesn't make any sense.
That's it. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been here with Jason Saul. Man, he just rocked this whole presentation today. I hope you've enjoyed this quick little interview, and that you can be a little bit more innovative. Think about how you're doing things as well. So Jason's been an inspiration, and we say to you, now you go forth and inspire your world.